Welcome to This Old App, a podcast about learning, coding, smashing stuff together, breaking things apart, startups, failing, winning, and any other buzzwords we can think of.
So, Randy, about 3 weeks ago, I made a side comment to you that I was feeling old. I had mentioned that I hadn't really dabbled in any kind of code in probably about 6 weeks. It was probably more like 4, but it felt like 6. And I just felt I think I said I just felt uninspired and tired. Like there wasn't a lot of motivation to do. There was stuff to do. There were problems to solve, but I no longer had the drive and desire to actually go solve them. And I was like, that's just, I'm getting old and I can't hack it anymore.
But wait, you took a nap and you felt fine after that, right?
Do not, listener, do not underestimate the power of naps, by the way.
Yeah.
The other life hack is middle of the day showers are awesome. a 2 p.m. shower will pick you right up. So yeah, and when I said that, you went down a different path that I wasn't thinking of. So why don't you take us down that path and we'll go where we're going to go with it.
What was the path I was taking? Memory goes too. I don't remember.
Yeah, no kidding. So I said that, and you said, "Well, how many meetings do you have?"
Oh yeah.
And my reaction was, I don't have a ton of meetings. We don't have a lot of meetings that we do on a regular basis. And then you turn around and said, okay, how many calls do you have? And I said, well, probably 15 to 20 calls a day. And what was your reaction to that statement?
Well, I guess maybe it's not age as much as seniority and experience. As you move up in a company, as you gain more experience, as you become more valuable, as you want to get paid more, you become part of the communication structure. You become a dependency of the company at a greater rate. And so then more people need to talk to you. They either need your input, or they need by design they need your validation to, I guess, have things happen. So you're part of more meetings and more phone calls. That's kind of the side effect. So I guess but I guess also on that line of thinking, the energy it takes to do web development, coding, application development, and sit through meetings, which are very typically inefficient methods of communication. One drains the other, is my experience.
Right.
So so that's why I was going down that path, I think.
Yeah, and I think your statement to me was, well, calls are just another form of a meeting. Yeah. It's really just a one-on-one meeting instead of a multi-meeting. And we've talked in the past about focus and the need for flow and things like that. And that became part of it as well, because talking very specifically about what I'm working on, you've reprimanded me in the past for actually coding as the COO of the business. But I think what finally came about was I wasn't seeing a huge need for what I was working on. Everything was flowing pretty well, and I had this little side project that nobody was really asking for either. So that took a little bit of motivation out. And I say that because last week, the team came to me and said, "Hey, you've mentioned in the past that we might have the ability to show our technicians their schedule. Where are we on that?" And I said, "Well, I haven't made progress on it." They're like, that'd be really important to what we're trying to do here. Guess what? It's up, it's deployed, it works. I needed to hear that it was important to get done.
Yeah.
And that all of a sudden turned the motivation around, and I got something out there that works. That's easy. That's, small bit of code that's easy to maintain. I didn't overextend for the project goals. I kept the project goals very simple. They told me what they needed. I coded it, and we're done. And now I've gone back to them. I've said, "Here it is. Tell me what else we need, and we'll go from there." But I think that was part of it as well. Is self-directed. I wasn't seeing a project focused, and as well, I've been busy doing other stuff as well. And it's funny because I sit there and I think, 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, it was nothing for me to sit and do my normal work during the day and then turn around and code for 4 hours at night trying to build some fantasy football something or other.
Yeah.
But I don't have the patience for that now. I don't have the patience or the focus or the whatever to sit down and code for 4 hours anymore after the workday. I've turned that into actually doing it during the workday and made it part of what I'm doing, which works as well. But it does feel like there's something, and I don't know that we'll be able to identify it. There's something that as age sets in, you don't have the 12, 16 hours of energy / focus / whatever to juggle 5 things. So you can still juggle 3, but you can't juggle 5 anymore.
Well, I mean, isn't it in sports? I know I'm going into a different area. In sports, it's not about diminished ability. It's about diminished recovery. At least that's what I've always been told. I mean, yeah, you lose hand-eye coordination, you lose reaction time, but essentially you'll see great athletes at older ages do amazing things for a day, and then they're basically in a slump the rest of the week. And that's because the recovery is different. Whereas when you're younger, you can recover and then do the same output the next day. For us in development, I think it's different. There's probably 2 things battling. One, less energy, more things in our lives over time to distract, boredom with the same things that we've done before. Like you could not convince me to build a fantasy sports league management system again because I already did it and I don't see a real benefit. So there's an aspect of I only want to work on useful things. Like I really don't need to waste my time. Like it wasn't a waste of time to build that fantasy sports system because I was learning how to code. I was learning something. Yeah. I've built so many things since. I don't need to build a fantasy sports league system to learn a new thing. And I think as you get older and you've built so many useless things, because we take a job at a place, in our previous job roles, and you think about how sometimes you spend a ton of energy on something that doesn't fly or that doesn't need to be done, or it was just some kind of whimsical idea from a manager's head. And you're like, why am I doing this? I don't want to find myself in this position again of building useless things. And so I think as you age, you maximize the utility of your time. That's what you're aiming to do. because you also want to spend your time doing things that are fun. And when you're younger, learning is fun. And maybe it's not. I still have a fun learning things now, but it's hard to say. Like if at Hierology, they said like we need to learn Go. I was like, yes, cool, and I had no problem at all with learning a new kind of framework and new language. But if they were to say you need to learn Angular, I would be like, whoa, what? Like this doesn't feel useful. And probably younger me would have been like, sure, Angular, cool. But I don't know if I'd feel that same way right now about yet another JavaScript framework because it seems redundant based on what else I know. So I think it's I guess it's energy and attitude about things that change as you get older, which is dangerous in our area because everything changes so fast.
Yeah, and I think there's one thing I want to say is that I don't think there's a case to be made for lack of ability, as you were saying. It's you can as you age, you can still be just as effective a developer.
Yeah.
You just may need to be a bit more focused with your time, and getting the amount of time, the amount of work you need out of the time you have in your focus. Now, that said, if you're slightly older, you've probably got more experience and you know how to make that happen. So you can be pretty much just as effective. After we had that conversation, I sat down and cataloged everything I was doing to try and figure it out. And I sat there and I went, well, listen, what do I do? During the day job, I do the day job, and then I turn around, and this was kind of in the middle of the late spring. In the middle of the late spring, what a weird statement. Anyway, this was late spring, and I was officiating girls lacrosse, high school girls lacrosse. So I was out, three evenings a week doing that. That takes a physical toll. And when the physical toll is taken, the mental toll goes completely out the door. So I was sitting there physically expending energy and expecting to come back, take a shower, sit down and code for an hour or two. Well, that's almost silly. Because after I got to about the midpoint of the season, there was no way that was happening. It was get through the season at that point. Because your body eventually needs that time to recover, and you're out there 2-3 nights a week, and it just doesn't happen. So, I think it's a case of being more mindful of all the demands you have on your time and your energy and your both physical and mental energy, in order to be just as efficient. Yeah. So I feel better. I feel better now, especially since I got something done, right? Yeah. That almost cures all ills. But I also know that I'm about to turn around and enter football season here. And the football season is going to make the weekend a complete wash as far as getting anything coding wise done. Because I'll go out there, do Thursday and Friday night football games. Turn around on Saturday, watch Gator games and hope for Georgia losses. Yeah. And Sunday, just need that day to recover, as you said, recovery time. So it's interesting, and it's an interesting dichotomy as I approach 50. What that's gonna turn out to be, and 50 is just a number. There's nothing that happens magically when you turn that age, but it does make you wonder at times.
So the question then is, as you age as a developer, what do you do to combat what would appear to be diminishing productivity, what are the things you need to pay attention to? Because number one, in my mind, would be sleep. You
Yeah.
need to get the amount of sleep. And I joked about naps, but naps, like a 15-minute nap can do wonders for getting you back on track.
For sure.
And there are some companies that tout they have nap rooms and stuff. And I think that of all of the fancy hipster features at an office, that is by far the most productive use of space rather than a ping pong or foosball or shuffleboard table. It is
Right.
a room, a space that is dedicated for napping, meditation, what have you, just for people to recharge their mental batteries. The next area would be, and I think as we all age, we get worse in our activity and health, or like fitness aspects of things. And so
Sure.
working out does wonders for overall brain capacity, activities that are different and new, getting away from your desk. So one of the benefits to where we moved is I can take an interesting walk in all sorts of places for an hour a day if I want to here. I can do tennis, I can do pickleball, I can do golf, I can swim, I can ride bikes, I can do all sorts of stuff that had a little bit more resistance in the big city. And I wasn't always because of that resistance, in the sense of it was harder to do some of those things. I just kind of didn't do them for almost 2 decades, especially swimming.
Right.
And
Yeah.
here it's a different, I can walk outside my door and do lots of stuff really easy. And I can say in a way, when I'm sitting at my desk focused for a few hours, I don't feel as guilty about it. Like, hey, I need to get up and do something. Like I did. Like yesterday, I did 3 hours of tennis and pickleball, which pretty much did me in for the day. But it was still, wow, I got out and did some stuff that was different. So the change of pace and the fitness aspect is really big, I think. And when I work right now, I feel like I'm sharper during the week with the stuff I'm working on for hierology. So there's definitely that. What else what else is important?
I think I think that's all part of it. I think you're right. Sleep, fitness, diet,
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean you have to. That doesn't mean diet as in go on a diet and be a perfect weight. That means just be mindful.
Yeah.
I've gotten to where I'm a little better, and I usually get better around football season. I'm a little better about hydrating.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think that's a big one. It's one I fail at miserably sometimes, and I usually know I failed at it because about 3 o'clock I end up with a headache that will not go away. So I've gotten to where I just and this is bad. This is bad in one way, but it's good in another. I've gotten to where I just go buy a bunch of Gatorade G2s and have them around the house because I'll drink those. I have an aversion to drinking just water, but I'll drink a Gatorade.
I've got a water bottle, which is like, let me see, 24 ounces, 27 ounces. Yeah. I would say I fill it 3 times a day and drink.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Like if my mouth is dry and I'm not even talking to people, huge sign of dehydration. But it does get your brain does not work well without proper hydration. So that's a really big deal. I'm fine drinking water. I don't know. The sugar is what bothers me of Gatorade. Even though I do drink it when I play sports, it's still like Kool-Aid to me. And I somehow gotten past the boring the boring aspect of water after growing up a soda drinker and stuff. So yeah, I forgot to think about the water part, but that's huge.
Yeah. And diet is just it's not starving. It's eating mindfully. That not starving yourself, but not overeating as well, and just trying to, if you're going to eat a lot, mix in some carrots or broccoli or something like that.
Well, almost in a way, eating anything is you need to eat something, because Megan used to remark about how I'd be working on something as a coder in a coding aspect, and she'd say, "Have you eaten anything?" And I would think back and like I skipped lunch and dinner by the time she got home at 9, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that doesn't. I definitely can't do that anymore. Um, I have to eat some meals, if not snacks, at some point, whether it's anything, just to like I could pull that off younger, cannot do it now. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a big deal. How has learning changed for you as you age? Because we talked the
Hmm.
other night about some code that you were trying to get done.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed for you in terms of learning new code or how to get something done?
Um, I would say I'm probably a lot less patient about. I used to pick up the whatever I was learning, pick up a book on it, and start at the beginning and work through it. Work with the basics, build stuff up. I'm a lot less patient to start with the
Mhm.
basics, which is biting me left and right, no question. I'm more likely to jump in, figure out what I need for a project, figure out what I need to learn in order to go with it. Not jump in at the simplest level, but jump in at some midland level and figure that I'll just debug the heck out of it and struggle through it that way, which could have something to do with coding fatigue as
Mhm.
well. Um, for example, this latest thing that I built, I built it using Nuxt and Vuetify. I had not used Nuxt before. I had not used Vuetify before. I had started to learn Vue. So I jumped straight from beginner Vue into two more complex versions of Vue, mainly because in my head it got me to the end point faster, without having to do some of the more basic stuff, and that's an excuse more than it is the right thing to
Mhm.
do it. So I'm a little less patient about working on the basics, and I probably need to get
Yeah.
back to it.
Um, for me, watching pairing, like I think pairing, the amount of stuff I learned as pairing with people, um, was indicative to me that watching, hearing someone's commentary about what they're doing is way more valuable than a book. I
Sure.
tried to read a book on Go. I got halfway through it. I'm like, this is just too slow and methodical. And when I paired with my folks on my team, I was just absorbing things at such a fast clip. So when I don't have a team of people, tutorials, video tutorials that lack structure or lack significant structure are by far the best ones. So we've talked about Stephen Grider, and I love the dude because he doesn't take a lot of time um, over editing. He'll make mistakes. He'll laugh at himself. He'll make commentary about why he's doing something. He'll make commentary about why something is stupid. And I like that commentary because it always solidifies in my mind how serious I need to take something. Versus with a book, everything is important, it seems. So I think that's how learning other human beings, um, ignore the cats in the background. There it is. But the I feel like learning by yourself, it seemed effective as when I was younger, but I almost now kind of hedge against it as much as I can.
And see, I think you're restating what I
Yeah,
stated in a different way. You're saying you're not really interested in the basics and building up the foundation of it. You want to get more to the
yeah.
practical. Um, and I don't know if that's an age thing, if that's a where we are in learning as a society thing. I don't know. I
Is
don't
it
know the
because
answer
we
to
know
that.
the basics? Like we know, like even the basics of Go are still the basics of Rails and Ruby.
Oh, that's a fair point. We may feel we know enough basics to put it together. That's a fair point.
um, yeah, but the thing, what's different for at least for me is I don't have the get off my lawn mentality around new coding and new stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know. I know a lot of people that do, and they're in their mid 30s, and I'm like, why are you so angry about new code and new frameworks? Like, what has jaded you on this stuff where everything that you learned 5 years ago is really the way it should be? Um, I'm still excited by new stuff coming out. I think it's all iterative on like Parcel is the response to the pain of Webpack.
sure.
And Vue is the response to what happened when Angular wasn't had some good stuff going on and React had some good stuff going on. Let's blend the good stuff together, and now you got Vue. Um, I just don't. Yeah, there's times when new things come out like MongoDB, or like I don't see why we need this. But you take the JSON abilities of Mongo, the document abilities, put it into Postgres, and it is cool. I like it. So to me, I don't look at all this new stuff. I mean, it's always driven by the developer to market it and make it seem important because it's their time. But I am still excited by the new approaches to solving problems that people are introducing, even in the JavaScript world. I don't see a need to get off my lawn, quit innovating so fast. Like it just doesn't bother me, like I'd
Right.
expect it to in my age, maybe.
Yeah.
That sounds like a no. I want people to get off my lawn sigh.
No, no, it's not. It's a the only hesitation I have on that is there's a difference between that stance and trying to apply every new concept to every problem. When a new concept comes along, trying to apply it to every problem. So for Aspire EDU, we will sometimes get into a state where we have a problem we're trying to solve, and all of a sudden it's being proposed to try a new technology or a new approach. And it's not once a year. It's like every new problem needs a newer
Mhm.
solution. So that I think there's a fine line between the two. There's a fine line between let's go look at the shiny stuff and stay
Yeah.
off my lawn. And I don't know where that line is.
I mean, I feel that the get off my lawn attitude is due to going back to what we talked about. It takes energy to do stuff, and we get tired. And if you aren't taking care of yourself, like when I'm trying to solve a problem and I have to learn something new to do it, and I'm like just not, my patience is gone. It's truly like a 10-minute nap solves that problem. I'm back on track. if you're constantly fatigued and tired because of lifestyle choices, your sleeping arrangement, your hydration, how do you ever get in a good attitude to do that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's just a matter of, as you get older, you have to be more introspective about the changes that your physical, biological self is going through to make it geared to work in the same way that you want it to work as when you were younger as a developer.
Sure.
Megan and I joined a pretty expensive gym in Chicago, and the benefits of that were immense for what I was able to accomplish during those 2 to 3 years, like just crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel that our move here will do the same for me. Now, the other thing that I also realized is remote work appeals to me greatly for being productive. And the lack of, when I was in the office for the on-site, the number of random conversations I would get in completely just destroyed hours of time I would have otherwise been coding. Now, it was good to talk to people. I don't want to be antisocial. It's just more of, more of like, hey, if I actually had an assignment this week that I need to get done, this would have been really hard. I would have been been reserving a video conference room so I could just have silence. And it still baffles me that open format offices with developers are allowed to happen. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's one of the crazier workplace theories that never really pans out. And I don't know where it came from.
But it's not just panning out. It's taking your most expensive labor expense and then putting it into a crowded room and saying, be productive. It's counterproductive, that whole thing.
Right.
And it's not about being antisocial as you get older. It's totally about, because I still talk to people constantly during the day as a remote person through chat, through Zoom, like short Zoom meetings. You just have to understand that how human brains work it doesn't have anything to do with age really, but I think the responsibility you have as you get older is to understand how your brain works and how your focus works, to keep that going.
Agreed.
And to understand the boredom factor. I think if you're getting bored, you're not going to be very effective. And I think you get bored with things faster as you age, but that's probably a psychology thing I would have to follow up on more than a bold, broad statement, I would say.
Sure. Well, I think that reaches the end of this conversation. I've got some coding to go.
I just woke up, but I might go take a nap.
The honest truth is I'm going to go eat some lunch, and then the effort of my body digesting the food will probably bring a nap on. So I probably won't get a.
And to think all of our listeners thought we were two like mid-20-year-olds talking about code, and now they're like, "Man, I've been listening to grandpas for."
Yeah, no kidding. No.
All right, man.
All right. Well, we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to This Old App. Show notes and previous episodes can be found on our website at www.thisoldapp.online. Reviews on Apple iTunes are always appreciated and help promote the show. For questions, comments, or things you would like to hear on future shows, please email us at hello@thisoldapp.online. Show music is Guns Blazing by Fab Claxton, licensed by Pond 5. Voiceover work by MeganVoices.com. You'll hear from us soon.